And a good spiritual morning to you once again. I'm Father Guzmas. Thanks for joining me today for a quick chat. And of course, our morning cup of coffee. And Christos Anesti, Christ is risen. We're still celebrating the resurrection. You might notice I'm flying solo today. I don't have my wife, Presidenta Michelle, with me for today. She's been quite the trooper and being on all the videos for, months and months now. But because I was out of town at the Clergy Lady last week for more than half the week, scheduling has gotten a little bit difficult. So I'm flying solo, perhaps for the two videos, I think, for this week. And then we'll see what happens going forward. I think she'll be able to come back. But just, she works full-time also, and it's difficult sometimes to get the scheduling going. And as I mentioned for today, I mentioned that I was out of town at the Clergy Lady, and the theme of the Clergy Lady was actually, basically, it was about Orthodox missionary work. It was about, so the sort of tagline was, "Our faith can move mountains," but the guest speaker was the director of OCMC, the Orthodox Christian Mission Center. And so there was a lot of talk about people coming to the church, how we apply some of these rules to international missions. We had Father Martin Ritzy, who's the director, who's been overseas for, 35 years, back and forth to Africa and to Albania and to different parts of the world doing Christian missions. And so it was kind of like, well, how do we apply what he's learning in the field all over the world to what's happening here in America? And everybody kind of agreed that there's this amazing thing happening in the Orthodox Church here in America. A lot of inquirers, a lot of visitors, a lot of, converts, a lot of people joining the Orthodox Church. So what do we do with that? How do we process that? Because this is the time of year where we're celebrating the joy of the resurrection, of course, but we're getting ready for Pentecost. We're getting ready for the birth of the church in terms of how we go out and spread the joy of the resurrection. So this is the time where we think a little bit about how we go out and we seek, how we cast the net, as the apostles did, and try to bring the fish into the boat. So what a lot of people kept saying at this conference, at this Clergy Lady Assembly over and over, was this idea that we're really not doing a great job seeking. We're not casting our nets very well. But like it or not, the fish are just jumping in the boat. There's all these people finding us. A lot of it's online for whatever reason, and they're sort of coming to our churches. And we experience that here at my church. We have people coming every week and inquiring. Some of the churches said they have up to 50 and 60 catechumens, right now in classes looking to convert. Somebody said that if their church continues to grow at the rate that they're growing with converts, that their church is going to double in size in the next 6 or 7 years. So there's a tremendous movement towards orthodoxy. And so for us, as let's say, already in the church, what do we do? And I think I just wanted to get one point across as a take-home, because this is the time of year, as I said, where we should be thinking about how we reach out and welcome others, because we're getting ready for Pentecost. We're sharing the good news of the resurrection. And it's never been easier, because when I say that, people say, well, do I have to go out door to door and go stand on a street corner? When you say reach out and seek, what do you mean? I'm not even saying that at this point. As I said, the fish are jumping in the boat. They're coming to us. They're coming to your church, most likely. Just be nice. I mean, that's at this point, that's all we have to do for missionary work for right now, because people are seeking us out. And far too often, we're not ready for them. We're not prepared, either in our mentality or in our day-to-day practice as parishes and parish life, to be receiving them. We're not set up for that. And so it's partly like for a culture, let's say we're primarily a Greek culture that's known for hospitality, right? Greeks are known for philoxenia. We're known for our hospitality. We can be downright inhospitable from time to time. And I've had people say, well, Father, who are these people? And this is going to change our church. Are we sure we want these people? Think about what you're saying. Do you want people to come to Christ? Of course you want these people. We want all people. We want to welcome all people. So for right now, it's never been easier as we talk about opening ourselves up and sharing the joy of the resurrection. You don't have to go door to door. You don't have to go stand on a street corner. You don't have to have uncomfortable conversations at work. All you have to do is when you go to church on Sunday, smile. And when you see people, greet them. Shake their hand. Ask them who they are. Spend time with them in coffee hour. When you see them in church and they don't quite know what to do, or they don't know how to behave, or they don't know how to dress because they've never been before, be kind, be patient, be loving, be joyful. Share Christ. Do you think Christ is upset that they're there? Of course not. So why are we concerned? Just be kind and be loving and be hospitable, be welcoming. And that's really all we have to do for right now. And we're struggling to do that well, to establish good welcoming committees, to establish materials for these people, to have someone assigned to go into church and sit with them, sit next to them, show them the book, explain what's happening a little bit, answer any questions that they might have, take them into coffee hour, welcome them. I can't tell you how many people at this assembly said that they visited an Orthodox church because, by the way, I'm astounded by this assembly. I used to go to clergy-led assemblies, for the past 30 years. And to see the difference in this assembly, to see so many, this is representing our lay leadership of all of our churches. And our lay leadership at this assembly in the metropolis of San Francisco, it was more than half convert, which is amazing to see. Didn't used to be that way. And so to see that happening, and for these people to say, I went to a church somewhere and no one came and talked to me. I went there for weeks and I would wander around coffee hour and I would see everybody kind of in their groups and in their cliques, and they were all kind of smiling, but no one came up and greeted me. No one welcomed me. And that's something we have to be thinking about and sort of say, well, wait a minute. How are we opening our arms and embracing the people? The fish are jumping in the boat. Don't throw them out of the boat back into the water. You don't even have to do the work of casting the net to figure out, well, where do I go? For those of you that fish, it's hard. Where do I go to cast the net? And then once I do, if I happen by, some amazing miracle to catch some fish, the struggle to pull the net in. You don't even have to drop nets. They're jumping in the boat and we're throwing them back into the water. Welcome them. Be kind to them. Say to ourselves as Orthodox, the mission of the church to preach the gospel to all nations. That's why we exist. And so if they're coming to us, what an amazing blessing. Thank God. Welcome them. Make them feel that this church, our church, your church, it's their spiritual home too. That everybody has the right to be able to have access to the truth, because that's what they're seeking. They're seeking something, and I think they're seeking truth. They're seeking stability. They're seeking tradition. They're seeking something beyond what they're finding in society. And we have it, and we're keeping it to ourselves as some sort of a secret. Let's share the good news of the resurrection. Welcome these people. Show them some good old-fashioned Greek hospitality, some philoxenia, and greet them on Sunday with a smile. Don't look at them sideways and say, what are you doing here? I don't know who you are. Don't think, well, this makes me feel uncomfortable because now I don't know everybody in my church. Thank God. You're not supposed to know everybody in your church because your church is supposed to be growing, and you're supposed to get to know new people. So then you will know everybody in your church, and guess what? You'll know more people. What a blessing that is for us to be able to share the joy and the good news of the resurrection and do that each and every day. Amen.